Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you the best route for this season and the best Z tier to use for your bench. Remember, you need to have 2 Z tier in the bench. You don't need to change your team from season to season. You just bring the 2 Z tier in the last 10 fights so you get enough boost for the 1k CC. I have numerous team building guide in the channel. You can check it out, and there is a playlist. You can make the team that you have the highest star and the better units in and bench 2 Z tier for that team, then bring them on for the last 10 fights as I said earlier. I have a boost video. If you don't understand the concept, I will link it in the description. But if you still want to use a high boost teams, I will drop a video for teams tomorrow, and we will show you a couple of high boost ones that will be interesting to use for this season. On the weekend I will give you the guide for every single fight, and the weekend after I will show you the gameplay of my own team and how I will do and approach the fight. So sub to the channel if you like the content. There will be a lot of stuff around this season and how to approach it. Now let's look at the Z tiers and what are the best ones for the bench for every single major tag. But before that, remember, this is the requirement or star requirement for Z tiers. You need to follow it because it's going to be important for them to survive the 10 fights. If they down you early and they are low star, there is no point of using them. I would advise to change them, or maybe change a team if you don't have enough Z tiers. If you have only one Z tier and you have a lot of good S tier, you can run 1 Z and 2 S and it's gonna be enough for the CC. What you're gonna do is you're gonna alternate between Z tiers and S tier in the last 10 fight and try to have at least 30% boost along the way, and it's gonna be enough for the CC. Of course, for all the Z tiers I'm going to talk about, they need to be at least friendship rank 5, and friendship 10 is recommended, but of course you cannot friendship 10 everyone. But friendship 5 is a minimum, so they can be fast enough and they can have some extra stats. Z tier's character are not the best, and friendship is gonna help them survive more. Now let's look at the best choices for the major tags. Let's start with GT. So this season you have 4 good Z tiers. You have the Trunks, of course. He's a recent EX, he released last year. I would advise to have him at least 9 star, and I would advise all the EXs to be at least 9 star. You only need 2 Z tiers, but if you have like 3 of them that are very high star, like 214 and 19, you can use 3 Z tier, no problem. Same for Rildo, he will need to be at least 9, but 14 star he will be okay. I think the best Z tier among GT is the Shinran. After that it's between Oob and Trunks, and then the 4th one I would say Rildo. For Frieza Force, the best Z tier is the Yellow Broly. He need to be at least 9 star. Because he's an EX, of course, and he has low stats. If you don't have EX Broly, you can use the Vegeta. The Vegeta is actually free to farm to 7 star. There is a story event with him, so go farm that if you want to. There is also the Cooler, but he's more LOE than Frieza Force, and if you have too many non-LOE characters, I wouldn't advise him, but if you don't have to, you can use Cooler. Cooler himself is tanky, but he does no damage. So it's just up to you. If you want someone tanky, you can use him as a Z tier, and he needs to be at least 9 star too. Same for Raditz, and he's not tanky, but he does the most damage among these 5 characters. I would be very careful with him. However, he fits the blast team very well, it's just he's not very tanky. The Nappa does also good because he does debuff the enemy blast defense. However, he's not tanky at all. You need him at least 14 star because you can farm him for free from the ticket event, and he's a free to play event exclusive character. For Nappa, I would say if you don't have any of the characters, you can use him as your Z tier. I actually used them in season 106 as a Z tier, and he survived well with my Frieza Force team. You just need to be careful with him. For example, don't use him in yellow fights or enemies that have a lot of yellows and stuff like that. Now Regen. There isn't too many good Z tiers this season. I would think the 2 Boo are the 2 best ones. The free to play need to be 14 star. The Super Boo need to be at least 9 star. The EX are not that good. The Blue Baby, I would use him in Blast teams. The red one is strike teams, it's just depending on what you have. But one of them need to be at least Boo, the Buhan, because he's free and you can farm him to 14 star. The other, if you have Super Boo, use Super Boo. If you don't, use the blue baby in blast teams, the red baby in strike teams. However, they need to be at least 9 star. If only one of them is 9 star, use the one that is 9, even if it's the wrong team, that's fine. You need the character to survive more than doing damage. Now let's get to the next ones. You have Android, Dragon Ball and Hybrids. For Android, you have a couple of interesting Z tier actually this season. You have the free-to-play 13, you can farm him to 14 star and use him. I would advise everyone that's using Android to have him as a Z tier. And the second Z tier is depending on what you have and your stars. If you have the not the free-to-play, the EX17 Z7, I would use him as your second Z tier, he would be great. And he's actually farmable, so if you farmed him before, it would be amazing to have him as Z tier. And you have 2 great Z tier for your team. You can even have a third Z tier if you have 17, 13 that are maxed 14 star. You can have a third one like the green Android 14, I believe. He's actually pretty tanky and he will survive pretty well, but he needs to be at least 9 star. If you don't have anyone, for example, if you have only free to play 13, you can have the EX14 as your second Z tier. He will be okay. He can survive 5 to 10 fight, no problem. He needs to be at least 9 star too. For Dragon Ball, there is only one good Z tier and it's the Roshi. If you are a Dragon Ball user, you already know how good he is. I would advise him at least 9 star. Now, if you wanted second Z tier and you have a super high star Dragon Ball team, the main team, you can use Chi-Chi, she will be okay. But I would advise to use her only in fights where there is Sunfams because she gets damage cut versus Sunfam, and bench her in other fights. If you don't have a great Dragon Ball team, I would advise 2 S tier and 1 Z tier, or 3 S tier and 1 Z tier, the minimum, so you get enough points, and that will be fine because Dragon Ball has so many S tier. I think Jackie Chun is even S tier this season, and you can have 2-3 S tier, no problem. For Hybrid, you have actually a lot of choices this season. The purple Super Saiyan Trunks is the best one from DBS. If you have him at least 9 star, I would advise him. But 7 star it can be okay, and you can do a double Z tier. Just don't bring him early and bring him for the later fight because he's not that tanky at 7 star. Other than that, you have the transforming purple Trunks, he can do a job too. He needs to be at least 9 star. You have the Zenkai's blue Trunks, he needs to be Z7 7 star. If you don't have Z7, Z4 can work, but at least have him 9 star. It's gonna be okay. And finally you have the EX blue Gohan. Just be careful with the EX blue Gohan. You need to be 9 star, 7 star can work actually, but you need to use him very carefully because he covers allies when they are below him, so you always put that Gohan in the bottom row so he doesn't cover anyone, he doesn't lose HP. Now let's look at the next batch of Z tiers, and we have Majin Buu Saga, Saiyan Saga and Unirep. Unfortunately, Majin Buu Saga as always, they don't have great Z tiers. If you have Dabura, of course use him. He has a good Z ability that gives 50% plus attack and defense for green and red. You don't have any Majin Buu Saga Z abilities for Z tiers, and that's the closest you can get to. I would also advise the Buu Tanks. He's not a great character, but he's free to play. You can 14 star him and he has a nullifier, so every fight he can nullify an attack and he will survive longer because of that. And after, if you don't have Dabura, you can use as a second Z tier the Super Buu. Super Buu need to be at least 9 star. Actually, I prefer Super Buu to Dabura, but the Z ability, the problem is annoying with the Majin Buu Saga. Next is Saiyan Saga. You have actually 3 decent Z tiers. I would say I like Raditz the best for Saiyan Saga. He need to be at least 9 star, and he has the Saiyan Saga Z ability, so he will be helpful. He's not the tankiest, but he will do okay damage, so be careful, use him just for the later fights. You have also Vegeta. He's farmable in the story events right now, and he's in every banner, so maybe you have him at least 9 star too, and he can be used as a Z tier. If you don't have any of the two, or if you don't have one of the two, you can use the Gohan. And the Gohan is not great, but he has some damage cut, so he will survive 5 to 10 fights, which is pretty good, and he needs to be at least 9 star too. Unirep and USS, there is very good Z tiers this season. The 2 Dispo are amazing. The EX can be 7 star, but a 9 star is advisable. For the Sparking, he needs to be 9 star. He's pretty good too for a Z tier. You can also use the Caulifla if you have her Zenkai. She needs to be at least Z7 7-star or Z4 9-star, and she will be okay as a Z tier. The best one is the EX Dispo if you have a 9-star. The other two are pretty decent, just go based on who you have higher star. Finally, we have Saiyans, Vegeta clan, and Saga from the movie. From Vegeta clan, you can use any Saiyan as the bench as long as you have enough Saiyan Z abilities. If you don't have a lot of Saiyan Z abilities, use the Vegeta clan specific Z tiers, which is the 2 Trunks or the 3 Trunks actually. The Super Saiyan purple one can be 7-star, friendship 10, but I would advise 9-star of course. The old purple base Trunks, he needs to be 9-star minimum. For the Zenkai, he needs to be Z7 7-star or Z4 9-star. Now let's look at the Saiyan specifically. You have the Masked Saiyan, he's the best teacher for Saiyans this season. He's blast based and he's actually really good. If you have him, you can use him even in your main team and add 2 G tiers, so you will have 3 Z tiers, no problem. And he needs to be at least 9-star for that. The Goku Black is an okay tanky character. He doesn't do too much, but he will survive pretty well. If you have him 7-star Z7, he can be used, or Z4 9-star, which is the bare minimum for Goku Black. Same for Caulifla. They're not the greatest, but they can be used because they are Zenkai. I would actually prefer the Broly over both of them if you have him 14-star, but if you have him 9-star, the 2 Zenkais are better. Actually, Broly is pretty decent for a Z tier. Similarly for Tora, he needs to be 9-star. 7-star can work, but 9-star is much better for Tora. For Nappa, if you don't have any of the other Z tiers, you can 14-star him and use him in your bench. He will be okay, he's a free-to-play character. Now, the best 2 Z tier I would say are the Masked Saiyan and Tora, if he's 14-star. If he's not 14-star, I would say Masked Saiyan and Zenkai Goku Black. Now if you have like many Z tiers and you have Masked Saiyan in your team, you can put him in the main team, the red one, and have 2 Z tiers like Tora and Nappa, and you will be fine. Finally, Sagas from the movie. You have really good Z tiers, like 2 free-to-play that you can farm. If I was a movie main, just farm 13 to 14-star and Tapion to 14-star, and you have 2 Z tier, you are like good to go. If you both have them 14-star, you can even run 3 Z tiers because they are so good, they will be okay in the main team, especially Tapion. After these 2, it's just depending on your star. Do you have Gohan more than 9-star? Do you have Broly more than 9-star? Or do you have Trunks more than 9-star? And you can use them as the 3rd Z tier and they will be okay. Just be careful with Gohan. Put him in the bottom row and put him in the middle or top row because he's gonna cover and lose too much HP. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any question, let me know in the comment, and goodbye.